Hey, welcome to the first episode of Man with Too Many Action Figures! Woo! I'm the man, and these are my action figures. And since this weekend is the first weekend of Man with Too Many Action Figures, and the first weekend of football, we are going to pick the winners of each and every NFL game through action figures! And no, in my world, just like in wrestling, we don't use point spreads. We have a winner and we have a loser. So, are you ready? Let's get ready to pick! Now, first up, we have the Tennessee Titans versus the Denver Broncos. And representing the Tennessee Titans, we have Tennessee, Memphis' favorite son, the Honky Tonk Man. And representing Denver, we have, well, when I think of Denver, I can't think of anything of consequence from the last 20 years. So we have Bob Backlund, who hasn't done anything in about 20 years. And the winner is going to be
Just a honky-tonk man.
the Tennessee Titans! Yeah!
I'm just a honky-tonk man. I'm cool, I'm cocky, I'm bad.
Next up, we have a great matchup. The Green Bay Packers versus the Minnesota Vikings. Representing the Green Bay Packers, who have brought my favorite team, the Cowboys, many a heartbreak, is the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. And representing Minnesota is a tough and tested competitor that always gives his all. Doesn't always win, but he's always solid fundamentally. Arn Anderson. You may know him as Double A. Now, who's going to win this match? Unless Arn Anderson brings in one of his buddies like Tully Blanchard, I call the victor being Green Bay!
Just a second. I'm not your boy toy.
Okay, next up, we got the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Washington football team. That's all I can say, legal reasons. And because I detest both these teams, representing the Philadelphia Eagles is Hornswoggle. And representing the football team, dressed in the color that they used to be named after, El Torito. Now this promises to be a super ugly matchup that I really have no interest in watching, but the winner, because the better small man always wins, is Hornswoggle and the Philadelphia Eagles! Woo! By a small margin. And how about this for an epic matchup? Indianapolis versus Jacksonville. Well, maybe not. But representing the Indianapolis Colts, I'll have a wrestler who might be a little bit past his prime, but always is solid and always put a good effort, the British Bulldog, versus the Jobbers of the NFL, the team that might go 0-17. You heard it here first. The Jacksonville Jaguars. And so, representing the Jaguars is the epic jobber of all time, S.D. Jones. Now the winner of this match, quite clear. It has to be, because jobbers always lose, the British Bulldog! Next up, we got Seattle versus Atlanta. And I know what you're saying. AJ Styles should be a Falcon since he's from Georgia and is a big Atlanta Falcons fan. But, you know what I say? He's too good to be an Atlanta Falcon because they always choke. So he is representing the Seattle Seahawks because they're both winners versus a guy, Robert Roode, who should be a lot better than he is, but hasn't been able to put it all together. And if he had a WrestleMania main event, no doubt he would lose it in the last minute. For this matchup, Seattle-Atlanta, give me the Seahawks! Woo! You're gonna fly with
We some Southern boys with the farmer strength. Ain't nobody man enough to feel the pain. And you could be next. You better give.
In Cincinnati, we have an interesting matchup with the Los Angeles Chargers, San Diego Chargers, whatever they are, versus the hot, young, rookie quarterback and the Cincinnati Bengals. Representing the musically inclined LA Chargers is a musically inclined Elias. Pretty good wrestler, but's never put it all together to win the big one. Versus X-Pac, the 1-2-3 kid. At one point was the hottest rookie in the WWF in 1993, who you might remember beat Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, surprising everybody. And tonight, for this matchup, I think the Bengals are going to surprise the Los Angeles Chargers and are going to somersault them. Go! And now for the Sunday night football matchup on Sunday night, we have the Dallas Cowboys versus the LA Rams. And representing the Dallas Cowboys has to be, now every year they think of themselves as the total package. Particularly because their owner Jerry Jones says so, or in Lex Luger's case, Vince McMahon says so. But will they be able to overcome the LA Rams, who I say is Bray Wyatt? A good, solid wrestler again, sometimes with injury problems, but has the talent to beat anyone on any given day. But tonight, I think Uncle Jerry has something planned, which is going to help his Dallas Cowboys somehow beat the Los Angeles Rams and Lex Luger and the Cowboys. I'm gonna pose, baby! And in New England, we have another matchup between the Miami Dolphins and the New England Patriots, the dirtiest players in the game. And given that they're the dirtiest players in the game, New England's gotta be represented by Ric Flair, along with his manager, J.J. Dillon. And representing the Dolphins, another of the jobber teams. It's one of my favorite jobbers of all time. Sadly, though, he's not a fish. He's a bird. The Birdman. Coco Beware. And even though the Birdman's going to put up a good fight, he's going to do his best. He's going to do it. Ultimately, the talent and maybe a few dirty maneuvers will lead to the New England Patriots. Woo! Ultimate victory. Woo! And in the last fight of the day, and definitely the most exciting, it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the New Orleans Saints. And this is like a dream matchup. Just like 10-year-old Paul would have had this be his dream matchup. The Hulkster, who lives in Tampa Bay right now, versus the man who made New Orleans wrestling famous in the 80s. The Junkyard Dog. Another one bite the dust. Another one bite the dust. And come on. And because everybody knows nobody beats the dog in the dome, there's only one possible result, and that is Tampa Bay bites the dust. and New Orleans is the winner. Now, please don't use these results for your own personal betting. They're purely for entertainment purposes only. But in this range, you see the winners. Down below, you don't see them because they are losers. And we will see what I know about the NFL. This weekend, let's get ready to rumble! I'll see you again for another episode of Man, Me, Human. See ya!